Hello and welcome back to Just Ask Mrs. Hurlbutt. This is episode 43 and I'm kind of getting my legs and I'm ready to continue working on my own. Got a new phone, the sound's working, the light's working. It's a beautiful day. So here I am. Our episode topic today is infatuation. And oftentimes I choose topics depending on what I'm talking about with my students. And recently we had a very in-depth conversation about infatuation. And I wish so badly they were all here, but they're not. So I have to kind of recall some of the questions they asked and some of the stories that I told. So the unit is, well, among other things, talking about types of love. And so I ask the students to share the types of love that they're familiar with. And they can usually on their own come up with familial love, right? Love of the family, platonic love, love with love towards a friend, romantic love, agape love, like the ultimate love that God has for us and that we're called to have for others. And when I bring up infatuation, no one quite knows what to make of that. And I'll tell you why. Infatuation really isn't love. It can oftentimes be masked or be mistaken for love, but it's not love. And I usually start with my own story of infatuation because Lord knows I got a lot of them. I know well that infatuation isn't love because of my own experiences. As far back as I can remember, I shouldn't say have been, I was just totally boy crazy. Didn't know what to make of it, but I was boy crazy. And I put every cute boy I ever saw up on this pedestal that I never imagined I would actually reach. So what is infatuation? It's unrequited. It's usually unattainable. It's not necessarily real. It's usually very surface instead of deep. And what I didn't know until much later was that it's very self-serving. It's all about what someone can, how someone can make you feel, what someone can do for you. It has nothing to do with what love is, real love is supposed to be about, and that is service to another. So when I was in high school, one of my very first concerts that I went to, I think I was 15. Somebody must have driven me. I must have been with an older friend. But it was my favorite artist, my favorite band. I was crazy in love with the lead singer, mostly because he had a beautiful voice, but he was also handsome. I tended to be attracted to talented artists. So I went to that concert with a dozen red roses in my hand because I truly believed that by the end of that concert, I was going to make contact with this man and I was going to give him these flowers and he was going to receive them and hug me and thank me, and somehow we were going to spend the rest of our lives together. Did I know anything about this guy other than that he could sing? No, I knew nothing. But he was the end-all be-all. He was perfect in my own mind. So of course the flowers were never handed off. They ended up in a trash somewhere, a trash can, and I was very disappointed with my broken heart. Instead of just thoroughly enjoying that concert, I set my sights way too high. So what is infatuation? It's when you think somebody is so perfect that you assume that means they're perfect for you and that they're attainable and that what you see is what you get, and it can only get better from there. When in reality, it's the other way around. So at some point in my life, I started to shift away from infatuation and just have full and complete appreciation for these artists that I was crazy about, their music and their performances. So when I got older, I started to set my sights on seniors in high school when I was, a sophomore or junior in high school. Again, I just was crazy about them. I still found myself lost in infatuation. Never did I even know or honestly think it could ever happen that anybody would ever feel the same way towards me until one day somebody did. And then everything shifted, and we went to a dance. He invited me to a dance, and it wasn't that much fun. We didn't really have that good of a time. And I realized that I had made this image, this persona of this young man that was so far from who he actually was. When I gave him the time to actually get to know him, I realized we had nothing in common. I just had a crush on him, and I was infatuated with the way he looked and that he was older than me. So infatuation is tricky, and it can rope you in, it can hook you in and make you think that this is real when it's not. Now, that's not to say that infatuation can't actually turn into real love. It has, and it could. Let's just say, hypothetically, that you're a freshman in high school and you have this crazy crush. You're totally infatuated with a senior. Maybe this person is, the star athlete or the lead in the play, whatever it might be. You're crazy about that person, and they are up here and you're here. There's no give and take. There's no equality. There's no partnership, but the infatuation is real. That person graduates, gets on with their life, and maybe, 10 years later, you meet at an event. Let's say it's an alumni event. And now you are 24 instead of 14, and this person is 28 instead of 18, and that's a very, very different scenario. And so maybe you start chatting with this person and you admit to them, I was crazy about you as a freshman. You didn't even know I existed. So perhaps that person might suddenly take an interest. And now you've gone from here to here. You're on the same playing field. And yes, that could turn into real love. So what does it take for infatuation to become real love? It takes time. It takes circumstances. But what you don't want to do is get into a serious relationship with somebody with whom you are infatuated, and build on a weak foundation like that. So many of my students will tell me that they dated somebody for 3, 4, 5 months before they realized that it was only infatuation. And how did they realize it? Well, because they were probably very attracted to the way this person looked. And maybe when they started talking or started behaving in certain ways, that was a turnoff. But you thought, well, I already conquered this relationship, and this was a person that I still think is really cute. I'm still very attracted to this person, but nothing else is adding up. Open your eyes and recognize that that is not real love. It is not sustainable. It is wonderful to have crushes. It is, let me tell you, I'm the queen of infatuation. It's so fun to feel that way, but you have to recognize that that's all it is until it turns into a partnership. And if you're looking at some rock star on stage, the chances of it turning into a relationship are slim to none. If it's somebody who's in your world, the circumstances could change. And yes, it could turn into real love. A footnote to that infatuation story. About 5 years ago, I would say, I got tickets to a concert at a much smaller venue to see that exact same band. And there was my crush, the end-all be-all of my infatuation, standing on the stage, singing all my favorite songs, his voice still sounding perfect. Well, I had binoculars that night, and I lifted them up, and I checked him out, and suddenly I realized that this man had been 15 years older than me. So when I was 15, what would that make him? 30? So imagine now, he's an old man. He's an old man. I was so taken aback, I almost dropped the binoculars. So no more infatuation, but the music, it always takes me back. It's a wonderful feeling. It's a really wonderful feeling. Just know the difference so you don't get yourself caught up in a relationship that either amounts to nothing or is just a waste of your time. So infatuation, know the difference between it and real love. Thanks for listening, everybody. I'll talk to you soon.